When the sky finally brightened, Joy was still dragging sadness through the winding memory shelves. Riley's awake, Joy said with a sigh. She couldn't believe they had worked the entire night, and they were still trying to get through long-term memory. She wondered if they were any closer to getting out than they had been when they started. Joy dropped the cold memories, and sadness reached out to touch them. Oh, don't touch, remember. If you touch them, they stay sad. Joy reminded. Sorry, said Sadness, I won't. Joy looked back to see all the bottom rows of the memories on the shelf they had passed. They were now all blue. Starting now, Sadness added. Joy dropped her head in her hands. Oh, she groaned. I can't take much more of this. But then she brightened as she heard voices among the shelves. Mind the workers, she said, racing up in search of the voices. But Joy, we're almost. Sadness called after her. Oh. Joy slipped down an aisle and found two pear-shaped mine workers wearing helmets and goggles. They were vacuuming memories of the shelves, one held in clipboard, while the other sucked up memories with the vacuum. Look at this, said the first worker, pointing out some memory spheres. 4 years of piano lessons. Yeah, looks pretty faded, said the other worker, assessing them. You know what the first worker said? Save chopsticks and heart and soul, and get rid of the rest. Zoop, the worker used the vacuum to set up the memories. Joy was shocked. She asked them why they were vacuuming up perfectly good memories. The workers introduced themselves. They were forgetters. They explained their job was to clear out Riley's faded memories and send them to the memory dump. Nothing comes back from the dump, the forgetter holding the clipboard said. When Riley doesn't care about a memory, it fades. Fades? Joy asked, confused. This was the first time she had heard about memories fading. Happens to the best of them, the forgetter said. Except for this bad boy, the other forgetter said with a chuckle. This one will never fade. Grinning, he pulled out a memory from a nearby shelf and showed it to Joy. The song from the gum commercial. Joy asked. The memory was a triple dent gum commercial that had a catchy tune. The forgetters laughed as they played the memory again. You know, sometimes we set them up to headquarters for no reason. The first forgetter said. It just played in Riley's head over and over again. The other forgetter added, like a million times. They laughed as they watched the commercial again, and cracked up even more as they sang along. Joy watched as the worker put the memory on the shelf and pushed it towards the back. Boom! It shot through a tube out of the top of the shelf and up toward headquarters. Meanwhile, Riley was in her bedroom on her laptop, talking to her best friend Meg from Minnesota. Do you like it there? Meg asked. Do you feel any earthquakes? Is the bridge cool? Yeah, Riley replied somberly. It's good. What happened with the playoffs? Meg went on to tell Riley that the prairie dogs had won their first game. She told her about a new girl on the team. She's so cool, Meg said. Oh, she did not just say that, Disgust said, her voice dripping with attitude. A new girl, Fierce said, panicking. Meg has a new friend already. Hey, stay happy, Disgust coached. We do not want to lose any more islands here, guys. But Meg continued to tell Riley how she and the new girl passed the puck to each other without even looking. It's like mind reading, Meg said. Anger grabbed the controls. You like to read minds, Meg, he shouted. I got something for you to read right here. Hey, no, what are you doing? Disgust asked. Let's just be calm for 1 second. Fear advised as Anger put Fear's nose out and let it snap back like a rubber band. With no one holding him back, Anger pushed the gear full steam ahead. I gotta go, Riley said, cutting Meg off. Then she slammed down the lid of her laptop and hung up on her. Joy, still listening to the forgetter, laughing about their gum commercial prank, heard a horrible creak from outside the memory service. She ran to see what it was. Oh no, she cried, taking in the sight. Friendship Island was falling apart. Joy looked down at the friendship core memory in her arms. It was fading. Inside the memory sphere, she could see the faint image of little Riley and Meg skipping over cracks in the sidewalk, laughing and having fun. Joy watched as the broken island completely sank into the darkness below. Oh, not friendship, she said. Sadness walked up to her, having witnessed the whole thing. Oh, Riley loved that one, she said. And now it's gone. Sadness couldn't help herself, and she continued, Goodbye, friendship. Hello, loneliness. Joy's expression fell. Then she scanned the area. She eyed the hockey island in the haze distance and set her sight on the solution. We will just have to go the long way, she said. Yeah, said Sadness, the long way. I'm ready. She collapsed onto the ground and kicked her leg up, offering it to Joy. Joy sighed as she once again started to pull Sadness by the leg through the winding memory service. There's gotta be a better way, she said. She heard someone humming, and in the distance, she could see a large pink elephant happily grabbing memories from the service. Oh, look at you, the elephant figure cried as she grabbed one particular memory. You're a keeper. Joy continued to watch him from the distance. The figure was so intent on picking memories that he didn't see Joy until she stepped forward. Hello? When the elephant locked eyes with Joy, he froze and then ran. He tried to get away, but Joy chased him until he reached a wall and began frantically to try to climb it. He was a strange-looking pink creature with a long trunk, whiskers, and a floppy striped tail. He wore a checkered coat that was too small for his body and had a tiny hat perched on top of his head. Excuse me, Joy said, trying not to scare him more than he already was. The creature jumped, startled, and screamed. Oh, feeling cornered, he grabbed a random memory off the wall and threw it at Joy. Haha, so long, sucker. But he ran right into a cart of memories and fell to the ground, taking the memories with him. Wait, said Joy, recognizing his face. I know you. I get that a lot, he said nervously. I look like a lot of people. Joy gasped, finally placing his face. You're Bing Bong, Riley's imaginary friend. You do know me, Bing Bong said, pleasant, surprised. Riley loved playing with you, Joy exclaimed. Oh, you'd know. We were trying to get back to headquarters. You guys are from headquarters? Bing Bong asked. Well, yeah, I'm Joy. This is Sadness. You're Joy. The Joy, Bing Bong gasped. Without you, Riley won't ever be happy. And we can't have that. We gotta get you back. I will tell you what, follow me. Joy thanked Bing Bong for his help as the three of them walked down a long corridor of a memory service. It is so great to see you again, Joy said. She remembered how Riley and Bing Bong had held a concert with pots and pans as their instruments, how they had raced each other, with Bing Bong on the ceiling and Riley on the floor, and how Bing Bong's red rocket ship wagon ran on song power. Joey even remembered the theme song Riley made up that powered the rocket ship. Bing Bong and Joy sang the happy tune together as Sadness finally took a good look at him. What exactly are you supposed to be? She asked. You know, it's unclear, Bing Bong said. I'm mostly cotton candy, but shaped wise. I'm part cat, part elephant, and part dolphin. Dolphin? Joy asked. She didn't really see much evidence of a dolphin in Bing Bong. Then he let out a high-pitched noise that sounded just like a dolphin. Joy asked Bing Bong what he was doing in the memory shelves. Bing Bong explained that there wasn't much need for an imaginary friend in Riley's life lately. He thought maybe if he could find a really good memory, Riley would remember him and he could be part of her life again. Hey, don't be sad, Joy told him. When I get back to headquarters, I will make sure Riley remembers you. Bing Bong was thrilled. He began to dance around in excitement, but ended up tripping over his own feet. Doop, he cried. Joy and Sadness watched as pieces of candy fell out of his eyes. What's going on? Sadness asked. I cried candy, Bing Bong said in tears. Try the caramel, it's delicious. Joy munched on one of his sweet candy tears as she shifted the cool memories around in her arms. The spheres were heavy and slippery, and it was a challenge keeping them all together. Oh, here, use this, Bing Bong said, dumping the contents of his little bag onto the floor. Joy and Sadness watched with amazement as an insanely large pile of random stuff fell out. Memories, 3 boots, a hissing cat, and even a kitchen sink. What? Bing Bong shrugged. It's imaginary. This will make it a lot easier to walk back to headquarters, Joy said with relief, putting the cool memories safely into the bag. We're not walking, we're taking the train of the thought. Bing Bong led them out onto a cliff edge and pointed at the train speedily chugging toward headquarters in the distance. The train, of course, Joy exclaimed. That is so much faster. Bing Bong told them about a station in Imagination Land, another part of a Riley memory world, where they could catch the train. He said he could take them there. I know a shortcut, he said proudly. Come on, this way. I'm so glad we ran into you, said Joy. Bing Bong led the way to a huge bunker-like building. There was the train station. Bing Bong opened a large, sturdy hatch door. After you. Joy took her first step into the building, but stopped when Sadness called her. I read about this place in the manual. We shouldn't go in there, Sadness said. Bing Bong said it's the quickest way to headquarters. But Joy, this is abstract thought, Sadness explained. What are you talking about? Said Bing Bong. I go in here all the time. It's a shortcut, you see. Bing Bong pointed to a sign hanging above the door and spelled it aloud. D-A-N-G-E-R. That spells shortcut. I'll prove it to you. Joy and Sadness watched as Bing Bong climbed through the hatch. Look at me, I'm closer to the station 'cause I'm taking the shortcut. Bing Bong sang from inside. Let's go around this way. Sadness pointed to the path alongside the incredibly long building. Joy looked back at Bing Bong. Almost there, Bing Bong shouted. Joy turned to Sadness. If you want to walk the long way, go for it, but Riley needs to be happy. I'm not missing the train, Joy said. Bing Bong knows what he's doing. He's a part dolphin. They're very smart. She added, Well, I guess, Sadness said, following Joy through the hatch and into the building. Inside it was dark and grey. There were strange shapes scattered all around. Outside, two mind workers wheeled a cart over to the hatch they had just entered. They didn't realize that Bing Bong, Sadness, and Joy were inside the building. Okay, what abstract concept are we trying to comprehend today? One worker asked. Loneliness, said the other worker, checking his clipboard. Looks like there's something in there, said the first worker, peering into the hatch. I'm going to turn it on for a minute and burn out the gunk. The worker closed the door and Joy, Sadness, and Bing Bong heard a slam. Suddenly, the room brightened as a white light flickered on. Strange shapes floated up off the floor and hung in the air. Say, would you look at that, said Bing Bong, marveling at the sight. One of the shapes swiped by underneath Joy's feet. Whoa, she yelled. Sadness ducked out of the way as another shape whizzed closely by her head. Oh, what's happening? Joy cried. Oh no, said Sadness. They turned it on. Oh, I've never seen this before, said Bing Bong, watching as the floating shapes started to melt. Joy and Sadness screamed as they took in the sight of Bing Bong's head. It had transformed into a misshapen mess, made him look like a multifaceted figure from a Picasso painting. His trunk looked like a jagged staircase, and one of his eyes moved over to the now flat side of his head. Then the same thing happened to Joy and Sadness. Their bodies shuffled around, as if they were built out of tiny cubes that made them look like weird, mixed-up versions of their former selves. All their body parts were twisted around, and in the wrong places. What is going on? Joy cried, feeling a nose shift up to the top of her head. We're abstracting, screamed Sadness. Her mouth moved to where her right ear used to be, and her eyes were stacked on top of each other. There are 4 stages. This is the first. Non-objective fragmentation. They struggle to walk, their bodies moving stiffly without knees and elbows. Alright, don't panic, said Bing Bong. What's important is that we all stay together. Suddenly, Bing Bong's left arm fell off. Joy screamed as her head fell off. Then Sadness' right leg fell off, causing her to topple over. We're in the second stage, Sadness said. We're deconstructing. All 3 of them separated into pieces, like dolls that had been taken apart. Oh, screamed Bing Bong. I can't feel my legs. Bing Bong's arm found his legs and grabbed them. Oh, there they are. Joy tried to put herself back together again and grabbed Sadness' leg instead. She slapped it on and looked like a mismatched puzzle. Sadness chased after her dissembled head. We've got to get out of here before we're nothing but shape and color and get stuck here forever, she screamed. Stuck? Why did we come in here? Joy yelled. I told you, it's a shortcut, said Bing Bong. They could hear the train whistling outside and watch it through the window as it pulled into the station. The train, Joy cried. Pop, Joy, Sadness, and Bing Bong changed form once again. Now they were flat. Oh no, said Sadness. We were 2-dimensional. That's stage 3. Depth, yelled Bing Bong. I'm lacking depth. They struggled to make their way through the stage. Flat world. Things that seemed close by took a long time to reach. Those that seemed just their size suddenly became too small when they tried to walk through them. We can't fit, grunted Joy, trying to squeeze through. Pop! They changed it again. Now they were shapeless blobs of color, like a lump of clay. Oh no, we're non-figurative, said Sadness. This is the last stage. We're not going to make it, said Bing Bong. Sadness hit the ground and instantly transformed into a blue line. Wait, she said. We're 2-dimensional. Fall on your face. She crawled like an inchworm along the ground. Joy and Bing Bong followed Sadness' lead and fell, turning into lines of color too. They wiggled and squirmed right through the window. Toot toot, the train whistled as it prepared to leave the station. Wait, stop, Joy yelled. She tried to jump but couldn't. Pop, Joy changed back into her 2-dimensional shape and fell down flat. She looked up at the passing train. No, she said defeated, watching as the train chugged and puffed its way toward headquarters. She turned to Bing Bong. How long until the next train? She shrugged. Who knows?